First of all, let me explain how to do crop scratch. Using 3 fingers on the fader side, click 3 times to sound 3 notes. Move the ring finger, middle finger, and index finger in succession, as if crafts were working. Then feel little pressure on your thumb. If you don't have a little strength in your thumb at this time, 3 notes will not come out cleanly.
Yeah! 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 Yeah!
Do not put too much pressure on your thumb. Relax some and apply moderate pressure. The fingers are lightly bent, and the finger movement is like rubbing someone's side. Record side will simply move forward and backward. When combined, the movement looks like this. If you try too much beat,
So today we're going to be going over the crab scratch. These are your 3 main fingers you're going to be using for this one. Your ring, middle, and pointer. Once you put these on the crossfader, it is going to go in that same order. So first is your ring, then next is your middle, then next is your pointer. You don't want to put too much tension on the crossfader because you need it to bounce out, but quickly bounce back in to shut off the sound. And then once you do it, it sounds a little something like this. And that's how you do the crab.
First, let's grab a sound. Once we have a sound selected, let's get to the start of the sound and prepare ourselves to crab. Put your thumb against the crossfader in the off position, giving it a little bit of resistance, ready for the 3 fingers to tap the fader onward. Once you're ready, let the sound go on the record and tap the 3 fingers on. Stop the record. Turn the fader off. Get ready to do it again on the way back. Here we go. And again. And again. You can space out your fingers a little bit and make the sound a little bit slower. Watch this. The speed of your fingers will be determined by the speed of the crab that you're doing. Watch how this sounds.
Alright, this next technique is called crabs. Basically, you're using all your fingers on the fader. Your thumb is a spring, and it sounds like this. It's kind of like transforming. You kind of move the record slow. And you rub your fingers across the fader. You can use 2 fingers, 3 fingers, 4 fingers. But I think for me, the easiest is using 3. It took a while for me to get, because the way to get it is you got to do it really slow, and you got to get each finger in. So. finger one at a time until you get it kind of nice and even. Go from there. And that's a hype scratch.
For the best results, you want your fingers to come off the bottom of the crossfader. This gives the most movement and most pop and definition to your sound. You want to be making sure that you're using the tips of your finger. For this scratch, it actually helps to have long fingernails. So how many fingers? 3 or 4? Ideally, you want to use 4, but you can get away with 3. I personally only use 3 because my little pinky finger is just way smaller than the rest of my fingers, and it's really difficult for me to get that 4th finger involved.
Some people do it with 3 fingers, others do it with 4. I try to use all 4 fingers. And you're skating across the fader, and your thumb acts as a spring to close the fader back.
I didn't even know that the first one was twiddle.
Yeah,
I didn't
twiddle scratch. Again, it's just put in terms to these techniques so that when you and I are talking about it, we could have a dialogue and communicate without kind of trying to just recreate the sound. Like, yo, you know that scratch when you're, you know what I mean? You just give it a name, and that's it. So I want to have you scratch the ah, execute the crab the way we learned it, and then I want to do an experiment. Okay? So just trust me. Okay. All right? So just scratch the ah over this beat.
Just regular scratch?
Yeah.
Or do the
just do the crab. Do the crab however you feel it come out naturally.
So the first thing you're going to want to do, turn both of your faders down, your volume faders, and you're just going to want to get comfortable with the feeling of the crab scratch. So whatever hand you're more comfortable with or you're more stronger with on the crossfader, you're going to be using that hand. Also, if you don't know how to set up your crossfader, go ahead and check out this video that I'll pop up on the screen just to make sure that your settings are correct. So I'm going to be using my right hand, so I'm going to go ahead and press the crossfader all the way over to my right. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna start off by just holding pretty firmly on the crossfader towards the edge. And you're just gonna get used to doing this movement right here, which is going to be starting with your ring finger. You're just going to push like this, 1, 2, 3. So ring finger, middle finger, index finger. And so I'm gonna go ahead and turn that volume up. And then again, we're gonna just start off really slow. So we're gonna start off by just doing this. And as you can see, I'm holding this platter the entire time as I go forward and as I come back. So now we're here. Then we're gonna let the platter go again. Same type of deal. But this time, we're gonna catch the platter, close the crossfader, and then we're gonna actually do a crab scratch back. And then we're gonna do the same thing. Let the platter go. Catch it. Close the crossfader, and then we're gonna do 2 clicks back. And then essentially, you're gonna do that exact same thing twice. So the part 1 and part 2 will be the exact same. So again, it's crab forward, crab back, letting the platter go, closing, 2 back, same thing. This time we're gonna actually close it and then crab back. Same thing, catch it, close the crossfader, and then 2 clicks.
This thing called the crab. So what you want to do is like you snap your fingers, all of them, on the fader. So you go.
Oh wow.
And that makes it sound like. You know what I'm saying? It sounds like, yeah, it sounds really fast, but it ain't, you know, it's not really hard to do.
So you start with the fader open, and it's going to end open. And what you do is with each finger, you hit the fader off and then on. But you do this in quick succession with each of the fingers. So on the crossfader, it looks like this. This is the way it would look on the fader and also upside down. So the most simple version of this would just be to do a crab on your forward stroke and a crab on your backward stroke, like this. Or if we release the record going back and forth, it would sound like this.
So the crab scratch, I'm going to start with my sound, just right at the tip of the sound with my mark pointing towards the needle. And I'm going to start in the closed position on the fader. You want to start with your thumb, keep pressing the fader closed, and that's kind of the trick to this scratch, is how much pressure to put on this thumb. If you press too hard, you're not going to hear any of the clicks you're doing with your fingers. You'll start with your ring finger, your middle finger, and your pointer finger. It's just like snapping your fingers like that. So you're pushing right here, and then these three fingers are sliding by the fader. And each one of them opens the fader for just a split second. So even without using the record or any music, you should hear that sound right there. Kind of 3 clicks. You can practice just on the mixer even turned off, getting that sound right there. Crab scratch basics. You want to start at the very tip of the sound. In this case, I'm using the ah sound. Have it right at the tip. You can keep your hand on it or let it go, either way, as long as sound is traveling as you're doing the crab technique on the fader. So it's a combination of both. As you let go of the record or push the record forward, you're going to do your crab movements here with the fader. 3 clicks forward, 3 clicks back. You could do it much slower. All right, so here's the crab scratch in action. Here we go.
For the crab scratch, move your hand like a crab, just like this. Try to move your hand in this way. This is called a crab scratch because it looks like how a crab moves. Using 2, 3, or 4 fingers, you get sounds like these. Do it like this, like a crab.
The 3-click crab is 3 fingers. You're starting with the finger that's closest to the pinky, which is the ring finger, and then you go from ring to middle to pointer. First, practice this, just like on a table. So once you got that, then it's all about that thumb tension, not too much and not too little. You want to have that sweet spot, and then you're gonna roll the fingers off. And as you do that, the thumb is just naturally gonna bounce the fader back. People think it's all about the fingers, but it's really all about that thumb tension. It also helps to spread out your fingers. I'm doing this. But still, it's in that C-claw, and it's like a 45-degree angle. Once you have it down on the fader, then you can start getting that coordination with the records. So here's an example on the left deck.
So the technique behind closed crabs is for each of our 4 fingers to briefly open the crossfader in sequence so that the sound playing on the scratch deck is chopped into tiny pieces, creating a stuttered effect. The The crossfader needs to remain closed before and after each finger opens it. So the key here is to apply the right amount of pressure from both sides of the crossfader. Think of your thumb as a gentle springboard which will immediately bounce the crossfader closed whenever a finger opens it, similar to how it does for transformers and stabs. The finger sequence for all crabs start with our little finger and ends with our pointer finger. So here's the technique slowed down. Gently rest your thumb against the crossfader and starting with your little finger, snap each finger against the crossfader one by one. If you're doing it right, you should get a stuttered sound, which is basically 4 short sounds close together, one for each finger. And to take them to the next level, use your platter hand at the same time to manipulate the direction and pitch of your sound, either with the deck playing or with the deck paused.